Hello and welcome to Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate Daemonhunters. And if you would like to check out the game, there is a link in the description. This is coming out, well, probably tomorrow if you're seeing this right when the video has been released. And this is a blending of kind of like Gears of War with XCOM in the Warhammer 40k universe. And for me specifically, I have been yearning for a really good Warhammer game, and there's been, well, not many of those, unfortunately. However, I feel like this one has turned the tide, and hopefully you'll feel the same way. Let's start a new campaign. And we're going to be playing on standard difficulty. You can also turn on or off the tutorial. I'm going to be keeping it on because it does provide you with a nice insight into how the game works, and it also provides you story as well. And I personally feel like the voice acting is fantastic. I feel like the action scenes are very cool, and we're going to get to see all of that in action. Otherwise, you can also play with Grandmaster mode on, which is basically Iron Man. I'm actually going to play with it on. Why not? I think that sounds kind of fun, so let's do it.
It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. Mankind wages a never-ending battle for survival against the demonic power of the Chaos Gods. But by one force is humanity shielded from true darkness. The Grey Knights. This secret chapter of Space Marines are the Imperium's surest defense against that which the Emperor foresaw would be its greatest threat. Humanity's blade against the demon. For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Unidentified Astartes vessel. This is Captain Pirani Everick of the warship Holiness of Ra. Geheris is lost. Repeat, Geheris is lost. All Imperial vessels are to withdraw at once. Astartes vessel, do you read me? Geheris is doomed. Please acknowledge this warning and...
You have done all you can, Captain. Go, in the Emperor's light.
You cannot sail into this storm.
We do what we must. Farewell, Captain. Tech Priest, report.
Hexagramic wards are under maximal pressure.
Commander, we cannot maintain this orbit for long.
Dispatch the assault team at once. I will join them and put an end to this myself.
Your will be done. The assault team is engaged, Commander. They clear a path for your arrival.
Here I stand. One unbreakable shield against the darkness. Tonight the Cadium falls, Hector. Our quest is finally near its end. Palamedes, report.
We have cleared a path through this trap. Our target lies ahead.
Time is against us, brothers. We breach the Cathedral.
Alright, so welcome. Now, anyone that has played XCOM is going to be very familiar with how things work here. However, it is a little bit different with the various resources that you're going to be able to spend. Every single unit has 3 action points, and every single action takes 1 action point, as you might expect. You can also do some very cool things with waypoints, And you can see that right here. So for example, if I were to select behind this cover here, well, I can't actually do that right now because the tutorial locks it, but basically what you can do is you can select some other point on the field, and then you can select another one for your character to be able to maneuver around various obstacles. For example, hazardous areas such as fire and lightning and whatever else might be in your path. Anyway, we're going to be moving over here. You have to confirm move, by the way, so when you left click, you're going to have to left click again to be able to move to that point, which I think is actually quite nice. I was a little bit off-put by it at the very beginning when I first took control of these Space Marines, but now I am very much enjoying it. You can see here, however, full cover, very, very important. It reduces damage from direct ranged attacks by 100%. Yes, so cover is extremely important in that sense, and we're going to be moving over here. Alright, so obviously they're basically just teaching us how to play the game right now, and there is a very cool feature in this game called Action Camera. Now, there is a similar feature in XCOM as well, however, I feel as though in this game, they've really captured the visceral nature of the Warhammer 40k universe, and hopefully you're going to see what I mean by that.
Face the Emperor's judgment.
And he's got to reload, of course. But yes, there's a lot of gore in the game, a lot of violence, as you might expect. And I don't know whether you noticed from the cutscene, whether you skipped the cutscene or not, because obviously I have been using chapters for a while in my videos. And if you would like to skip to a certain point in the video, then obviously there are chapters down below that you can click on, and then it will take you to the point where you want to be. Anyway, let's move here. We have a variety of different Space Marines. Some of them have ranged attacks, some of them have melee attacks, and yeah, they are of course going to try and do the best that they possibly can. You can see here, boom, we're gonna murder this guy. And he's out of there. He lost an arm, in fact. He lost an arm. Alright. And here we go. Now we can actually get into melee range. Obviously, this is very much teaching us how this works. And in my opinion, I'm very, very pleased with this as well, because this also gives us an opportunity to take a look at some of the defensive abilities as well. There we go, so we dealt some pretty decent damage here. But now, because we are out of cover, we're going to be able to use a defensive, which is, in this case, Aegis Shield. And you can see here what it does. Aegis Shield provides bonus temporary armor for 1 turn. Each point of armor absorbs 1 damage before HP is lost. If your knight has permanent armor points, they are restored at the beginning of their turn. So yes, basically, armor is kind of like a shield in some other games, where if you have a shield, usually that will be the thing to regenerate and your health will not. And this is a bit of a similar thing there, but I'm going to be activating Aegis Shield now, and that is hopefully going to be able to protect us a little bit from the onslaught that we will be taking. As you can see, these heretics here are not really doing that much damage to us. He's taking a bit of a battering, admittedly, and they are now both going into Overwatch, as you might expect. If you're familiar with XCOM, you know exactly what Overwatch is. However, this is a little bit of a different style of Overwatch, because what it does is, well, you can quite clearly tell, it has a cone of fire. In other words, it's a lot more strategic / tactical in the way that enemies and yourself are going to be employing it. Whereas in some other games, most notably I believe in the first XCOM, Overwatch was very much a case of 360 degrees, and it would be very powerful. So yeah, that's not actually what's happening here. Anyway, we are now going to be entering the building.
Demons, I will not be delayed by these weaklings.
And personally, I find the sound design in the game to be exactly what you want out of a Warhammer game, because it literally is it is giving you that impact. Every single thing that you do in this power armor is giving you that satisfying impact from even the footsteps. I mean, you can hear Commander Agravain walking around, running in fact, and you can hear how heavy the armor is. It aggravates me to no end whenever there's a game where you can quite clearly tell that that thing is heavy, whatever it might be, and it sounds like it is made of paper. That is the worst thing possible, but this is not that by any means, and they have done a fantastic job with the sound design. Anyway, yeah, so there is also environmental damage that you can do here, which is very, very cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the pillar, and you can see here, well, obviously it's telling me where it wants me to aim, but you can do this freeform, you know, when you're outside of the tutorial and so on and so forth, and you can basically make it so that it will then do additional damage to multiple targets. So let's see what happens when we confirm this action. Yeah, some pretty significant damage done to those demons. Very, very nice to see that indeed. And now we're going to be able to move over here and help out our brother with a grenade. A well-placed grenade is all we needed. Thank you very much.
Deliver the Emperor's judgment, Uther.
And now Uther will be able to eliminate this guy. Boom. He's taken down.
Advance and train your bolter on that doorway.
And there's also a system in the game that is known as far as I'm aware, it's called something like precision execution or something like that. I actually can't remember the exact name of it, but it's precision something or other. We will get to see it in this tutorial, and I would love to be able to show it to you because it reminds me so much of, you know how in the Fallout games they have VATs? It's kind of like that. And if you think of the slightly older Fallout games, so not talking about Fallout 4 here, I'm talking about Fallout 3 and New Vegas, where you could very strategically decide, oh, I would like to target that person's hand with their weapon arm or something like that. You know, I'd like to target that. This is very similar in that regard, where you can target a specific body part and that will affect the enemy in a certain strategic fashion to provide you with some kind of bonus, or to provide the enemy with a deficit of some kind. Very, very cool that they have included that in this game. Anyway, the demons are obviously going to try and close the gap on us because obviously they have flaming swords and they want to use them to murder us, which I would very appreciate they not do. Oh, here we go. We got someone down. We got someone down. Now, they do have the ability to recover by themselves. However, there is also a system in place where it basically makes it so that if a space marine is eliminated or taken down and then revived, but then eliminated again a second time, that basically kills them unless they have additional resilience statistic or attribute. Resilience is how many times a unit can go down in a certain engagement without actually succumbing to their wounds. That's pretty much how that works. Anyway, there's also attacks of opportunity in this game, so you can see here adjacent enemies with melee weapons will automatically strike you if you move out of range. Obviously, attacks of opportunity, or we're kind of familiar with that if you know about turn-based strategy, so we're going to be just moving out of here. He's going to hit me. It's going to be a bit of a glancing blow right there. And you can also rotate the camera with some standard keys, Q and E, I assume. And we can also now activate our special ability. So this is basically showcasing one of the special abilities that you can potentially unlock with some other characters as well. This is a psychic spread attack, and we're going to use it right here. Massive damage. Oh yeah, massive damage. Alright, so obviously that uses willpower. So willpower is another statistic, as you see here, which is a knight's psychic power spent to use their active abilities. Spending willpower causes the warp surge meter to rise. So Warp Surge is also a different system, different resource system. I'm not going to explain that right now, but in general, it's just something that you're going to have to keep an eye on. Otherwise, let's see what we can do here about Palamedes. He is suffering under the Pinned Affliction, which is also going to penalize his action points. So unfortunately, he can only attack once here. And it didn't seem like he was able to do anything, unfortunately. Okay, maybe he can attack again. It seems like he can attack again, but unfortunately the Bloodletter took 0 damage from the first attack. And hopefully we're going to be able to help him out. Let's do this. Alright, here we go. Yeah, so this is what it's called, precision targeting. Alright, so here you go. So this is what you can basically do. You can select whether you want to target the weapon, whether you want to afflict this opponent with enraged, or whether you want to attack him and stun him. And we're going to be stunning him. So we attack his torso, and he is now stunned. Now, what's really amazing about stunning an enemy? Well, the next attack against them will always be a critical, which basically provides you with the ability to execute the opponent. So, for example, you can still do the other options if you want to, but I don't know why you would, because execute is so powerful because, well, you can exactly see what it does. It basically kills the enemy and also provides all of your knights with +1 action point. And you also get to see a very cool action camera perspective right there. And we've, of course, refreshed our action points, so I can now attack to kill the Bloodletter once more, and we're going to be using our willpower here so that Palamedes will not die, and we're going to use Force Strike, which will eliminate the enemy.
Excellent. I will move on ahead.
Alright, so we're now going to be moving on ahead.
There is not much time, brothers, but we must prepare for the coming battle.
Alright, so we're going to have to get into a decent position here. We also need to try and heal ourselves or heal some of our other friends here, because otherwise this guy is not going to be long for this world. So we're just going to revive him a little bit there. And we're also going to be getting into defensive formation. So let's do that. We also need to reload, of course.
Your resolve is commendable.
Okay, let's go over here. Yeah, so critical wounds. So knights recover from being critically wounded will only have 50% max HP until the end of the mission, and they can only recover once per battle, as I said before. I believe that is also determined by your resilience, but I may have gotten that mixed up about that, but well, we'll see. There are a lot of different systems in place in this game, and you're going to have to keep most of them in mind. Some of them are obviously a little bit more in the background, so you don't really need to worry about it too much, but we're hopefully going to get Iolanthus to come over here and help me out. We're going to go and do a little bit of a flanking maneuver here.
I will breach the inner sanctum.
And as you can see, he is wanting to breach the inner sanctum.
Futile! Millions of souls feed the flame. The threshold is passed. The warp emerges.
Your cult is broken. Your ritual is ended. Relish this breath, for it is your last.
Blood for the blood god! Skulls for the skull thrower!
Alright, so our commander is in a bit of a tight spot right there. He has to actually fight against a very, very large opponent. And the large opponent in question does have a little bit of armor to deal with before we can actually start dealing some serious damage to him. So hopefully we're going to be able to get over there as soon as possible and help him out. Now, obviously, as you saw right there, our friend here in his power armor was able to jump over this gap. And that's obviously just giving you an idea as to how mobile some Space Marines can actually be. And you can see here we are now going to do some pretty good damage to him, actually. Some pretty nice damage. And we're going to be armor breaking him as well, so he's going to lose a little bit of armor too. There we go. And we are now going to get some nice Overwatch going on here. Hopefully prevent enemies from entering the Cathedral. And I've got to say that generally I have found the AI to be pretty smart. Obviously this is just the tutorial, but in general I have found them to be quite good at what they do. And now he has bathed the battlefield in fire. And we have successfully actually eliminated one of the demons already. Unfortunately, they have now made it through our lines, and it seems as though they have critically wounded one of our Space Marines, and it seems like they will indeed eliminate another one. Yes, unfortunately, that is an actual death in this case. And yeah, thankfully they have bought us precious time, and this is when they're talking about the waypoint system, which is what I wanted to show you earlier. And you can see here I select this point and then select this point, and then we can do it again, and then he's going to navigate around the flames so he doesn't take unnecessary damage. And now we're going to be able to attack with our weapon. It's gonna armor break him, which is exactly what we want. There we go. And that's going to enable our commander to do massive damage. Alright, my guy is basically almost dead, but we are now going to finish off the demon.
Pathetic mortal! Weakling spawn of a false god!
I am the light that banishes darkness.
Your prayers mean nothing!
I am the hammer!
You have beaten me for now, little knight. But the war I fight is eternal!
Analysis. Warp signatures fading.
Then the blood ritual has ended. Where is that report? Report! Where is the commander?
He died a champion's death. Blade on blade against the foulest blasphemy.
And there is a victory against that foulest blasphemy. However, you can see here, your commander has fallen, but all is not lost. The Grey Knights are powerful, genetically modified super soldiers. They can sustain injuries that would kill a normal human, but they are not invincible. Your knights each have a special resource called Resilience, which I mentioned earlier, which indicates how many critical wounds they can survive over the course of the campaign before their injuries require their remains to be returned to your home on Titan. As your knights rise in rank, they will eventually earn more resilience, so there is permadeath in this game.
long campaign over at last.
A victory at the cost of the commander's life.
Alive, he was ever a faithful servant to the Emperor. A true hero. In death, at least his duty has finally ended.
Assertion. This ship remains in crisis. The baleful edict is seriously damaged. There are grievous matters to attend.
Ah, yes. That is why I have invited our guest.
You have appointed him to take the commander's place?
No one else suitable survived the campaign.
Falsehood. You also live.
My apologies, Acting Commander. The priests of Mars do not understand our knightly oaths. Our men and stores are severely diminished. Your task is to lead us for the voyage home. It is a simple duty, and once we return to Titan, I will put the future of your command to the chapter's Grand Masters. In the meantime, I will provide what advice I can.
I will also support you with counsel and service. But remember, the baleful edict is my chief concern. Be careful with this ship.
We sail for Titan on your word, Commander. Strike Force.
Alright, so here we go. This is where we actually get to explore a little bit of what we can do on the Baleful Edict. So with the fall of Commander Agravain, you have been promoted to provisional command of the ship for our journey back to Titan. It should be a simple duty, but you will need to manage our limited resources and respond to any threats we encounter along the way.
Commander, could you please join me in the Strategium? One of our battle brothers has proved himself worthy. Let us honor his deeds.
Alright, so here we go. This is obviously just taking us through the initial tutorial about how to level up your forces. And you can see here that Eolanthus, obviously he was one of the people to actually survive the engagement with that demon. And so let's see what we have.
Please decide where he should focus his training to support you in the field.
Alright, so yeah, we can now decide. Okay, so we get 2 points every single level, and you can now select whatever you want to increase. So, for example, let's say that we want to do core discipline. That is going to do what? What is that going to do? That is going to give him more willpower. Can I actually do... Wait a minute. Ah, here we go. This knight's ranged attacks have 10% increased critical. That actually sounds pretty fun. Strike an adjacent target to deal 4 damage. 100% critical. That does use 2 willpower, however. Not a big fan of that. This knight can now equip Terminator armor. That might be super fun. We could also... I think the health actually might be really good. Let's go for Terminator armor as well and confirm the promotion.
Confirming this promotion will apply your ability choices to Ulrich, permanently increasing his rank.
Alright.
Excellent. When you are finished, please join. Our ship is in dire need of repair. We had best set a course for Titan and debrief the Grand Masters.
Alright, so we can now set a destination, which is obviously Titan in this case.
To begin our return to Titan.
And we can now start to travel back. However, no doubt there will be some event or another that will prevent us from maintaining our course.
Baleful edict. In the name of the God Emperor.
Dominus, who is this interloper?
Code scrapings indicate an inquisitorial transmission.
Baleful edict. Prepare for my arrival.
Duty calls, Commander. We should open a Vox link.
Inquisitorial vessel. Permission granted to come aboard.
God Emperor, I found you. I must commandeer this vessel at once.
Impossible! We are bound for Titan. The edict cries out for repair.
The tech priest speaks the truth, Inquisitor. Our last crusade bled us dry.
I'm not blind, Knight. But heresy does not operate at our convenience. My destination is Koromar Prime, within this very system. Not such a taxing journey, I'd expect.
And what is it that you hope to find there?
This.
Beneath rotting skies, the air thickens with a world's final breath. Seeds planted in flesh and bone, watered with blood and tears. A warrior alone in the garden of a grinning god.
These are scraps of astropathic whimsy.
There's more.
It grows. It spreads. A great dispersal upon the etheric wind. The bloom proliferating. First, then Koromar, then world after world. Its roots spread from an ancient veil. Inquisitor, hear me! Hear me! Hear me! Who tends the garden?
The astropath sacrificed himself to send that message.
Now you understand why we must investigate.
Commander, we cannot risk further damage to this vessel.
It is the chapter's ship, Dominus. The Inquisitor has every right to request our support.
It is not a request.
Commander, with your leave, we will set our course for this Koromar Prime.
Yes. Good. That will do for now.
Corruption site detected.
Alright, so as far as I am aware, in this game, the bloom, quote unquote, is the main, I don't know whether you can call it an antagonist, but the main threat that you're going to be facing most of the time. So apart from demons and the normal enemies that you're going to obviously see, yeah, worlds afflicted with disease have some level of Nurgle corruption, but this is higher than anticipated. We should investigate this further. So yeah, the bloom is what it's called. Otherwise, if you would like to check out the game, there is a link in the description. It comes out May 5th, and yeah, I think it's turning out to... well, it's turning out to look like one of those good ones. Yes, actually one of the good Warhammer games. It's a rarity nowadays. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.